Radhe Krishna, guys. Welcome to yet another Hen Live. These are our those sessions where we come to talk about various subjects around world, around life, around business. And today we have something very interesting, and that is active aging. Something that we all talk about, hear about, listen about. So, to talk about active aging, if my viewers here, if you are talking about it, do leave us a message that yes, you are talking about active aging. And let me invite the guest of the evening today, Nidhi Chawla. Hey, Nidhi, thank you for joining in.
Always a pleasure to be in conversation with you. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody here. Guys, I want to introduce Nidhi. Nidhi is the founder of Silver Talkies. Silver Talkies is a club that works actively with people above 55 plus years of age, and they help people get active. When you think that life is almost done, they start another chapter with those people. And today we will talk about what they are doing with our silver citizens in our country. And Nidhi has also co-authored a book where they've covered stories of a lot of silver citizens. Nidhi, tell us about Silver Talkies. And before that, tell us, why did you even start Silver Talkies?
Okay. Yeah, it's been a long, long time since I started Silver Talkies. Uh, Actually, Silver Talkies was an idea that came from observations at home. When my father retired, I had this imagined view of retirement when I thought his retirement would be all about having fun, doing things which he could not do, when he was pursuing his career or when he was raising us. So my retirement gift to him was lots of art supplies and the best of supplies. Thinking that given that he was very fond of sketching and drawing, he would pick it up, and it was be the right opportunity for him to really pick up his hobbies. But unfortunately, even though he tried, to his credit, he did try, but he dabbled with those things for a while, I think for 3 or 4 months, and then after that he kind of gave it all up. And it came to my mind that actually he did not have any motivation to really keep at it. There was nothing which was exciting him enough or motivating him enough to continue doing what he liked. And since he did not really have a social circle either, his life was still very routine and very usual, where he would just go for a walk, watch a lot of TV. He would do the run errands and stuff like that, but there was no newness in his life after retirement. And similarly, Reshmi, who was my co-founder then, her father became totally socially isolated after retirement. He would not step out of the house, even though he was such a happy-go-lucky person who would travel a lot. He had a transferable job all his career. But he became very socially isolated, so much so Reshmi started worrying about him and started seeing doctors to understand what was changing. While her mother, being a new empty nester after both the children had moved out, was discovering her freedom. She wanted to socialize, she wanted to meet new people, she wanted to pursue her hobby and convert it into a passion, into a business. So both of us, we were looking for solutions for our own parents, and then when we went looking for solutions, we really didn't find anything which was happening way back when we started out. And that time it came to our understanding that there was actually nothing which was happening specifically for older adults. There were a lot of things which happened for the youth, children, but there is nothing which is happening exclusively for seniors. And that's what gave us the idea of Silver Talkies. And the name also was chosen as such, that silver depicted, or depicted the seniors, the silvers, and talkies, we wanted to be their voice, and we wanted to really be that platform where they would find their own voice as well. So that's how we created Silver Talkies, as a community and an engagement platform exclusively for the 55 plus, where they can find like-minded people. And it is a community first model where we emphasize a lot on the peer-based approach, because we have seen that working magic, improving their well-being, improving their health, because they are amongst like a tribe of their own. They have good time together, they meet each other, they interact with each other a lot, they travel together, they learn together, right? So Silver Talkies is actually more about create giving them those opportunities to find the joy of connections and possibilities. So that's how I would summarize. That's what Silver Talkies gives to older adults, to discover and explore and grow well and age well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I have actually experienced some of it where, after retirement, people get dull or, they lose interest but I've also found some people who say, no, I'll kind of go back and look out for more in life. But you're right. How has the journey been? How has there been some myths? How easy, difficult? It is a problem, but are people coming forward to sign up? What is on the ground like?
Well, it's not been easy. It's definitely not been easy, and there are various reasons for it. In terms of, when you ask me about myths, I think the biggest myth, or a or a misunderstanding, I would say, I think we tend to, as a society and as a culture, we tend to emphasize a lot on the physical health aspect of our parents, right? We really don't pay enough attention to their social and emotional well-being or their mental well-being, right? How are they taking care of themselves emotionally? How connected do they feel, to their family members or to their friends, or do they have a social network? Do they have interesting things to do, right? How happy they are, right? So whatever said and done, loneliness is a very real issue, especially as people grow older, because they become empty nesters, family moves out most of the time, and we are now, have this entire trend of nuclear family. So for them, it's a huge shift, moving away from joint families to fend for themselves in a nuclear family format. I think they struggle a lot to find things which will make them feel productive and relevant, right? And we really do not pay enough attention to that. We normally, like, if you and I were to pick up the phone and talk to our parents, first question we will ask is, how are you? And how are you is primarily just about trying to understand how is their physical health. Are your joint pains okay? Is your back okay? Do we probe further to understand how are they doing emotionally? Are they feeling happy, or are they some, depressed about something? Are they sad about something? Are they bored, right? So that's one big thing which, becomes very important, to have those meaningful conversations, to probe a little deeper in the well-being of our parents. Right.
Hmm.
I think the second biggest challenge, also, what I would say, or a myth or an understanding that we had, because when we jumped into Silver Talkies, we also had I think, a cliche understanding of aging, and we assume that they would like slow pacing stuff, like yoga, pranayama, maybe spiritual discourses. But it was very interesting to find that when we offered them things like theater workshop, ballroom dancing workshop, oh, they loved it. And it was like you just bring them an idea and they were ready to lap it up. It's like, bring it on, we will do it. Right. And I think slowly, slowly they became so comfortable. They started telling us what they wanted to do, where they wanted to travel. So it's very fascinating to see that they all hold desires. They're still, they age wise, they may have grown older, but they're very young at heart. They still have that zeal and that enthusiasm to lead life well, right? But we do
Hmm.
not think enough about it, even for our own parents, right? We assume कि ठीक है, retire हो गए हैं, अब थोड़ा सा slow हो सकता है. Now they can just be a babysitter. If they are spending time with grandchildren, they are very happy. But that may
Hmm.
not always be the case. That is true, but it may not always be the entire truth,
Hmm.
right?
What do you think? And okay, let's finish the myths, then we'll come to the further conversation.
Okay, so the other big learning, and the other big myth that we live with, is where we say that our parents cannot adapt to technology. They cannot, learn new things. uh, I think there are umpteen examples out there of people who are pushing the boundaries, breaking all the barriers, There are so many examples within our club itself, people who have done their PhDs in their 60s and 70s, who are still learning Sanskrit, people who are become entrepreneurs. For example, we interacted with someone. She was a banker for decades and decades, and then she found a new passion for trekking and mountaineering. She gave up her banking job and she became an entrepreneur. She has her own company which now takes people on mountaineering and trekking trips, and she's a senior citizen by
Yeah.
definition, right? I
Wow.
have people who have started running marathons in their 60s and 70s, right? So technology or anything new is not something which they cannot do. They may need some support. There is all of us need that moral support, somebody to encourage us, somebody to applaud for us, to be our cheerleaders, right? And I think that becomes very important to be doing for our own parents, recognizing what they would like to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I
Yeah.
would say are the misconceptions or the myths about aging, when we have this whole idea of about aging, our own point of view, and we do not understand the point of view of our own parents, and we try to impose our point of view on theirs in the name of care.
Yeah, yeah. See, Rajni just mentioned she shares her 90-year-old MI mother-in-law. He uses her smartphone very well. She watches YouTube, makes video calls to relatives worldwide, and wishes them on their birthdays. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Guys, do participate in the conversation. But Nidhi, now that you're talking about all of this, where parents are active, people are active, things are different. But there is a group where it is very difficult to bring them out into the world. They are in their cocoon and
Yeah.
they're not able to think beyond. The young generation in the household or in around them is also after a point not able to support. What have you seen? Do you have some tips to share that you've seen can work?
I think that's a very common question that I get from people your age and mine, where we feel that we are trying to encourage our parents to do it, but we are not able to help them find that right course of path, and to put them on that path. And I think that's perfectly fine, because it's not like you can push everybody on that same path, right? Even though we are very, the intentions are nice, yeah, they are well meaning intentions, but it may or may not be possible for everyone. But couple of things which I would like to say here is that, one, I think building a communication channel, strong communication channel with parents goes a long way. And why I say that is because I think, going back to what I was saying, we tend to impose our point of view on our parents in the name of care, but if you keep it like an open conversation where you hear them out, you give your point of view, have a conversation. Conversation is always two people in that conversation, it is not one sided, right? So having that conversation becomes very, very important, where you give your parents the agency to decide what they want, right? And yes, it is quite possible that many a times our parents may not really know what their likes or interests are, because probably their grooming and their exposure was limited, they never had an opportunity to explore all of that. And I think that's where our support becomes very, very critical, where, like how we do it for our children, right? Where we expose them to different opportunities, we bring them the opportunities, let them try it out to find what their hobby should be, what is it that they would like to learn, whether it's going to be a foreign language, whether it is going to be art, dance, whatever that may be, right? So presenting them with opportunities and letting them dabble with it to figure out whether they would take to it or not is a great way to kind of handhold them and support them. And the third thing, which I think works very beautifully, which I have seen through the work that we do, like we run Silver Talkies Club, where we have a lot of members from all across the country. I think peer group also goes a long way in mobilizing their interests. They start gravitating through interactions, through exposure, seeing their peers doing similar stuff, right? We have enough examples in our group where people, like, I have members who have been housewives all their lives, probably they never had that exposure again, But then, they joined some of our bhajan classes, which are multilingual bhajan classes that they do, and they've been learning bhajans for the last 3 years now. And now they can sing so well that they even perform at our annual events, right? Before that, they never sang, they never knew that they could sing, right? But seeing, being in a class format, being surrounded by your peers, allowed them to find that voice for themselves. Similarly, I have a very, very high profile retired pathologist from CMC Vellore. She was busy always through with her career, never had a chance to explore anything. She says, I had never picked up the brush ever in my life, but joining the club and then attending those art classes, she has, she now loves art. It is her way to kind of de-stress and really find, she has found a hobby, right? So I think having a community, a social network, which gives them things to look forward to experiment, also is a great way to help our parents find their likes, give them that exposure.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Like you said, peers help. हम उम्र हम constantly इसके बारे में बातें करते हैं कि at any age being with people of your age is more motivating. So I agree with what you say. But before we progress further, we have somebody who's leading by example. We
Mhm.
have somebody called Suki Ramakrishnan. Suki, big shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you for leading by example because she says she is 3073. Suki Ramakrishnan. She, I am assuming, I don't know. She yoga?
Yeah, I'm
है
guessing
ना?
so. Yes. Yeah.
73-year-old. And she says her children just got the laptop and said, you learn and you do something with it.
Hmm.
And she's been banking. She says now she is trading online as well.
Wow. Huge
Wow.
applause for you, Suki. That's so beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely. At the age of 73, when we're saying, stand up and reach out to the world or create your own world, yes, this is what it is. And your children have really, really come forward. And you have also, taken that step with your children. I think it is when two groups come together, one group can do nothing about it, or one person can do nothing about it. रहा बात कंफर्ट जोन का आई थिंक वो तो सबके ही संग है एवरी ईच वन ऑफ अस वांट टू बी इन आवर कंफर्ट जोन but we have some more comments. Hold on, Nidhi. So that's a great point, Suki. Let lead me to a question. How can communities create environment that are supportive of active aging? What comes under it? Nidhi, do you have something to share?
See, active aging is actually a term which WHO has defined. They call it active aging, or it used to be called active aging. Now they call it as healthy aging, which is basically at par with what we understand as holistic well being, where they say that there are 7 dimensions of a certain person's well being that need to be taken care of. This includes your physical well being, your intellectual, emotional, social, vocational, whether you have something productively to engage you productively, volunteering opportunities and stuff like that. Then it also mentions spiritual well-being, and when I say spiritual well-being, we are not talking about the traditional religion or spirituality only. That is actually considered to be an anchor for seniors as they're growing older, but also it's about the sense of self, the sense of purpose, how much gratitude can one feel, how appreciative of they are of their environment, and what they have in life. So all that is about spiritual well-being. And then lastly, it's the environmental, which is more like the infrastructure around them. Is it conducive enough them to be mobile, to take care of themselves, to feel the freedom, right? So these are the 7 different things which fall under active aging, right? And actually that's the framework that for kind of forms the foundation of the work at Silver Talkies, because when we are planning, say as part of our membership benefits, we are actually trying to solve for all of these things through that work, whether it is through classes online like fitness classes, yoga and pranayama. We've done dance movement therapy classes earlier, and then about the intellectual well-being, where we invite our own members to come and lead sessions for other members. Then there are a lot of quizzing, a lot of, like, there are interest groups. They have a book club in the club. They have a knitting and crocheting club. They have a wildlife club, right? So where they kind of get to discuss a lot of topics of their own interest and interact with the cohort, right, with their tribe. For vocational, we have tie-ups. So for example, for healthcare needs, we have tie-ups with service partners who who are available for anything that our members may need, because there are different needs. It's not just social and emotional well-being needs. There are physical health needs as well. They may need financial advisory, they may need legal advisory, right? So that we kind of curate and make it possible through our service partners. These are curated handful, players that we interact with. So, how do you give them a solution which caters to all their needs within the same ecosystem? And I think that's where, I think, to answer that question which Samita had asked, it is that then it's the core is the community, and then around that is the services which take care of the needs of that community, right? So that's how we have kind of built our community model, where community is the mainstay and the foundation of the entire work.
Yeah. Also, I just want to bring this. I mean, when we talk about, communities, so how to support active aging, for some reasons I have understood. One thing that as a community, as a society, we talk least about is hobby. We constantly talk about mental well-being, we talk about just health, the nutrition well-being, but we forget talking about hobby many a times. And if it feels hobby can be so important for active aging, because it helps you live with your own self, enjoy your own self. Do you think like that, Nidhi?
Oh, definitely. I think it goes a long way. And I think two things which we don't stress enough is about picking up a hobby, having an interest. And second is, I think, having a group of people to hang out with,
Yeah.
right? So in fact, when I get this question many a times, like, if I am right now 48, right, what should I
Mm-hmm.
be doing for myself as I'm growing older, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I have to take care of my physical health, but especially people who are, so led by just their work, sometimes a lot of us tend to forget that we need to have a life beyond our work, right? Our social
Hmm.
networks are limited to our work groups only, right? Our colleagues and our peer group there. Uh, how many of us have real friends outside the work environment? Do we have a, an activity that I bond over with people, right? So I think even as we are progressing towards aging, I think that becomes very important to discover what is it that I would like to do and spend time on, once I
Yeah.
decide to stop working. If I decide
Yeah.
to stop working, that is, we don't do, I don't think that's a common thing to even have. But if I want to pivot, I don't want to be in a full-time job, I want to do something differently, but I still want to have a good life, I need to find my social group. I need to find something that I would love doing.
Yeah, I just want to change that question. What you just said, I want to suggest. My
Yeah.
suggestion is to ask ourselves, do we really take time out to catch up with people without work?
Yeah. Very much.
Because
Very
we don't
important.
do that. Do we just catch up with people just to spend some time? I mean, I have always done this in my life, and now I'm making an effort to do this. But I
Mm.
think this is just so important, because only with people who you don't meet for work only are people who will be around when you age.
Yeah.
And your hobby and these people are what probably will create that environment for oneself to take life as it comes sometimes. Do you think like that?
Oh, yes, very much. And again, I think a club format is actually the solution which kind of helps you find that social
Yes.
network, plus helps you find the hobbies, because there are things
Yes.
happening for you which are being curated for you.
Yes, you don't have to sit and plan that. But before we get you to talk about Silver Talkies, finally, we have some more conversations going on, and I just want to bring them up. So, Sukhi says something very important. She says, first, I feel younger people look at you and see an older auntie, and a mindset is in that is one uncle or one aunt who is can't do, etc. So, I think one thing I have always said, call me Suki, no auntie. And I think
That's
that
the
is
thing.
the
That is
best.
No, that is bang on. In fact, in our club, even the youngest team member will call each member by their first name. We are on first name
Yes.
basis. We drop the uncle and auntie very early on. We don't even say sir and ma'am or Mr. and Mrs. Saraswati Ram is attending. She is Saraswati to all of us.
Yeah.
Similarly, I think adding those suffixes to a prefix, they add a lot of age related burden. You like
Yeah.
identifying somebody by their age,
Yeah.
and sometimes you just don't need that.
Yeah. I
In
think
fact,
one tip that I'm carrying today is next time when I'm meeting somebody, I should just ask, how do I address you?
yeah,
Can I address you by your first name? Probably, and get comfortable with it, because many of us are not even comfortable with it, but it's a great point to make.
I have a different problem now. When I have to talk to people professionally, I have to remind myself, okay, I'm probably expected to add a Mr. or a Miss there when I'm
Yeah.
writing emails, because I'm so used to the first name culture that it's very difficult to move
Yeah.
backwards from there.
No, don't worry. In fact, I've been using this in corporate life where I'm telling people, let's call each other by the first name, not by even the surnames. But this
Yeah.
is a great point, Suki. Thank you for bringing that up. In fact, when I was about to write a message to you, I was thinking, should I write Suki, ma'am? So I'm glad I didn't write ma'am. Okay. We have Tanushri. We have Gunjan who says, right, the life we live today outside work will pave our life tomorrow. Yes, it is for sure. Well said, Nidhi. We have life beyond work. It only strikes hard when we get in our
Mm,
salt and pepper mode. Yes, and it strikes very hard sometimes. But
yeah.
for people like Suki, bang on. Super excited and happy to meet you today. All right, take time out for yourself is very important. Now we have Saraswati Ram saying, as long as you think age is only number and we can do wonders by connecting with different people with more options in social life, you will always be happy and comfortable. Yes. But that's the challenge. Some people are able to do it and some people are not able to do it. And that's where clubs like Silver Talkies come forward. We have a question.
Okay.
The question is, in our country, we address elders with some prefixes of respect. How can we include this without offending? Nidhi, want to address?
See, for me, I think the safest and the simplest without getting overly formal. I sometimes, like I do have that challenge personally as well. Like with some of the men folk in my club, I am not able to. Some I can address by full first name, but some I somehow feel uncomfortable. I just add a G, you know, like Yashpal G, right? And I think that's perfectly fine. It's still respectful, but it's still not very formal, right?
Yeah.
So I think that should work.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's a good solution. Thank you for putting that out, Rajni. I hope that satisfies your question. And we have somebody who's giving a shout out to Silver Talkies, so it's time to like really applaud the work that Silver Talkies is doing. Saraswati says, motivating the seniors, making them to learn different things. Silver Talkies is the best. On that note, Nidhi, tell us what is happening at Silver Talkies and how can people, sign up with Silver Talkies?
Okay, so Silver Talkies, as I said, is a club for older adults. So anybody who's 55 plus can become a member by just paying a small subscription fee. And in return, what do they get? They basically get this huge, loving, vibrant community of like-minded individuals who are spread across the city. So there is a huge potential of finding new friends at Silver Talkies, and not just locally within your city, but even outside. Like geographical boundaries are really not an issue anymore, because we have seen beautiful examples of where people travel to another city and they have local members to catch up with now. So we actually have city chapters. We have city chapters in 6 cities: Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, and Delhi NCR, which means we basically have a good number of members in each of these cities who meet up once a month, over an activity anywhere in that city. Plus, the entire club kind of stays together through online conversation. So we have a very vibrant, engaging calendar, very diverse calendar that the team puts together every month, which includes anything from awareness sessions to skill building workshops like financial literacy, tech literacy, writing workshops, a lot of ideas there, to hobby workshops, fun and entertaining programs like music. They watch short films together, a lot of, and then we have a lot of interactive formats like Cafe Guftagu, Know Thy Flavor, many interesting concepts there where they get to interact with each other. So there is a mix of online and offline engagement. And then we also have classes which happen every week. So we have fitness classes for seniors, we have yoga for seniors, there is pranayama, there is bhajan classes. Sometimes we have language learning classes. Right now we have Kannada learning going on, right? So that's like to keep them in good stead, so that they are continuously improving week on week by attending these classes. Then we also offer them group travel because we have seen the younger seniors, people who are in their 60s and early 70s, have a lot of, places that they want to go visit, right? So we've started group travel. In fact, day after tomorrow, I'm traveling to Uzbekistan with the group.
Very
November, we
nice.
are going to Banaras. December, we have a
Wow.
trip planned to Chettinad. So
Arey
yeah,
wow. Very
huh.
active
If you
calendar.
want your parents to travel, then please sign them up. And if you want your parents to have fun, to socialize, to be active, then Silver Talkies Club is the right forum for them. And lastly, as I said, there are a lot of things which we do not curate in house. We make it available through our partners. So, healthcare needs, we have legal advisors, financial advisors on board, so that whatever the need may be, chances are they would have a solution within the Silver Talkies ecosystem. So,
Awesome.
so one can just check out silvertalkies.com. The membership also doesn't cost much. It's only 3,800 for the entire year plus GST, which works out to about 4,500 for the year. Uh, so, considering our parents' well-being, I think it's peanuts. So I think we should all sign up for. I'm not saying sign up only for Silver Talkies, but community models like Silver Talkies for sure.
Yeah. Communities are powerful because they just help us be around people. Social skills is very, very, very important. It just keeps us sane. And I think we need to all cheer up for it. But thank you so much, Nidhi. Today the takeaway is, one from Sukhi, because lead by example. Yes. When she got a laptop, she got into learning to trade and she's trading, and that's more than enough. When you get a lemon, you make a lemonade, or you make a sikanji, or you make a tequila. You choose what you do, but you do something with it. So that's one. Two, yes, conversations are important. How are you is beyond asking for joint pains. It is about hitting a conversation to look at how are we doing, just as people, mentally, socially, well-being, not just health per se. Number three, spend some time with people around you without any work agenda, to just socially connect with people. Number four, look for a hobby, pursue a hobby. Pursuing a hobby today will go long way with all of us as we grow. And Nidhi, thank you so much. Everybody, I have left this link to Silver Talkies. If you have parents, neighbors, friends who are 55 plus and would make benefit from joining a community, Silver Talkies is the direction. Please log in and check out what they do there. Thank you, Nidhi. Do
Thank
you
you.
do you ha- do you have any last liners to share?
I think let's all work towards helping our parents to age well. I think we can enable them. Let us be the enablers for our parents. That's how I would put it.
Yes, yes, awesome. On that note, we will see you next week again with yet another conversation. All the
Thank,
best. Shakti Fatte.
thank you.
Thank you.